questions on where to buy, sell or invest in properties. That's precisely what we are answering today on Property Hotline. Hello and welcome. I'm Kavita Krishnan. And with me on the show today is Amit Goenka, who's the MD and CEO of Nisus Finance. Amit, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Kavita. Pleasure to be back.
Great. Let's start with the first question that's coming in from Saurabh Khullar. Now, Saurabh says that he's planning to buy a flat in Platinum Avior. This is Road Pali, Kalamboli, Navi Mumbai. Now, he wants advice on the future of the Navi Mumbai area as a whole, especially, he says, the area between Kharghar and Panvel. What would you say? Kharghar to Panvel, good stretch to invest in at the moment?
Well, I mean, given the extraordinary amount of focus with the new metro lines actually going up to Panvel, which have now been approved, to obviously the new airport, I think was having been sorted out and now potentially a real date for the development and operation coming up. I think clearly for the first time in the last 10 years that we've been talking about the new airport, it looks like a reality, which is again brought back interest into the Navi Mumbai, especially Kharghar Panvel zone specifically. Also the fact that the lot of the issues of the planning authority, the special planning authority that was set up, have been sorted out. They've been giving approvals. A lot of developments have started to take off very quickly in the heart of Panvel, New Panvel. Clearly also shows the interest that have come up, especially in the affordable housing space. Clearly Kharghar is adjoining CBD. It is one of the prime areas. You actually see the locations you're talking of on the Bombay-Pune expressway. So connectivity obviously not an issue. A very well established micro market. Outlook clearly looks very, very positive. You're already looking at a price appreciation scenario. Right now obviously it's a little soft, but I mean, given the amount of development coming up, given the amount of inquiries that are getting generated, specifically for Panvel, Kharghar still has limited stock, is obviously unprecedented. People have had projects in the past, but for the first time we're seeing a lot of inquiries go back into the Navi Mumbai region.
So this is, Kharghar to Panvel is quite a long stretch.
Yes.
That he's really looking
Yes.
at. Which are the key micro markets that you should be considering over here? And you're an investor, Amit. Tell us which is the one that looks most promising to you from the investment point of view, and if you're an end user, which should be the market that you should buy into which has strong social infrastructure?
See, I somehow tend to prefer the more developed locations. So Kharghar clearly being next to the CBD zone, a lot of land having been opened up. It's next to, more importantly, the Taloja industrial belt, and Taloja is now seeing a huge amount of industrial activity on the warehousing and development side. So, I think that is one location where clearly, if I have the appetite to buy there, because I think the prices, while I mean, you're looking at about 8,000 rupees, may actually, touch the CBD prices of 10,000 and beyond as well. If I'm more price sensitive and I'm looking at volume, if I have to actually put out a lot of money, then I would also look at Panvel rather than New Panvel. Clearly because of the fact that the ticket sizes are much smaller, the value is much smaller. One is looking at investing between 4,500, 5,000 rupees a square foot, which is almost a 30% lower price than what Kharghar is offering today. But again, the volume is much larger. So, and again, as you've rightly pointed out, the growth in New Panvel in terms of price appreciation is slower, simply because of the sheer volume of inventory which is being put out right now. So because of the tightness of supply in Kharghar, it's becoming a very prime destination because of the metro connectivity, the existing rail connectivity, the expressway, etc. I think the upside tends to be more in near CBD, near Kharghar, than it will, I think, come up in Panvel, New Panvel.
A lot of activity also in Kharghar,
Absolutely.
of course, plus the, the social infrastructure that's planned, the Central Park, the golf course.
That's right.
All of that doesn't hurt either. So Kharghar is what Amit does recommend in this stretch, if you can afford it, at 8,185 rupees per square foot. But otherwise, of course, you can look at the other markets, New Panvel, Panvel, and of course, Road Pali, which is what you actually have
good
narrowed
projects
down to.
in that as well.
Right.
Yes.
We've got P.S. Parmar, who's called in from New Delhi. Mr. Parmar, go on. What's your question?
Good evening, Kavita. This is Parmar from Delhi.
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Yeah, go on, sir. You're on the show.
सुन पा रहे हैं मुझे?
सुनाई दे रहा है, बताइए क्या सवाल है आपका?
हाँ, मेरा सवाल है कि आई एम लुकिंग फॉर ए 3-bedroom हाउस इन नियर चंडीगढ़, जीरकपुर और मोहाली. So I want your advice on some good options in this region, Tri-City, Panchkula, Chandigarh, Jirpur, etc.
आपका बजट कितना होगा?
My budget is about approximately 50 lakhs.
50 lakhs.
हाँ जी.
ठीक है, और ये भी बता दीजिए कि आप रेडी टू मूव इन प्रॉपर्टी चाहते हैं कि आप अंडर कंस्ट्रक्शन में खरीदने को तैयार है?
No, under consider ready to move or likely to be ready by within next 6 months.
राइट, मतलब 6 महीने के अंदर इनको पोजीशन चाहिए। अमित, आप क्या बताएंगे? चंडीगढ़, जीरकपुर, मोहाली, पंचकुला, वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग मार्केट्स, और एक टाइम पर ये मार्केट्स काफ़ी प्रॉमिस भी दिखा रही थी।
नहीं, एब्सोल्युटली राइट। ये जो चंडीगढ़ अंबाला हाईवे का जो पूरा डेवलपमेंट हुआ है, स्पेशली बिकॉज चंडीगढ़ इज़ द फर्स्ट प्लान सिटी, मगर चंडीगढ़ में प्राइस अप्रिसिएशन बहुत ज़्यादा हुआ एज एन एक्सचर टू दिल्ली और एज अ लोकेशन विच इज़ हब टू दिल्ली। तो चंडीगढ़ में अभी अपसाइड एक तो कम है, प्राइस अप्रिसिएशन बहुत ज़्यादा हो चुका है, और वहाँ पे अभी भी कोठी कल्चर है, इतने ज़्यादा फ्लैट जो बने वो बिके नहीं। तो आज के तारीख में जो डेवलपमेंट हुआ है और जो आगे जिसमें ज़्यादा दमखम रहेगा वो मोहाली और जीरकपुर में रहेगा। मेरे हिसाब से देरा बस्सी भी देख सकते हैं, मगर मोहाली जो है वो एक स्ट्रेटिजिकली प्लान सिटी बनाया गया था राइट ऑफ चंडीगढ़, जहाँ पर आईटी सेगमेंट, स्कूल्स, हॉस्पिटल्स, हेल्थ केयर, सारा मॉडर्न इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर वहाँ पे दिया गया है। तो हमारा फर्स्ट चॉइस मोहाली ही रहता है, बिकॉज एक नई वाइब्रेंट स्मार्ट सिटी की तरह उसको प्लान किया गया, उसको डेवलप किया गया है, और वहाँ पे अपार्टमेंट कॉन्सेप्ट भी काफ़ी अच्छा चला है एज अपोज टू कोठी कल्चर जो अभी भी चंडीगढ़ में काफ़ी प्रोमिनेंट है। जो मोहाली में आज लोग वहाँ पे अपार्टमेंट्स में कोई दिक्कत नहीं मानते। आपके प्राइस रेंज में आपको कई सारे ऑप्शंस मिलते हैं, जहाँ पे आपको 50 लाख में करीब 1500, 1600, 1700 स्क्वायर फुट के अपार्टमेंट्स रेडी टू मूव इन आपको मोहाली में मिलेंगे। अगर आपको उससे थोड़े से कम बजट में देखना है तो जीरकपुर भी एक ऑप्शन बनता है। दो एज ए सेट मेरा फर्स्ट चॉइस मोहाली रहेगा। हमने 2-3-4 उपलब्धियाँ वहाँ पे ढूंढी हैं जो रेडी टू मूव इन है, जैसे आप चाहते हो, और हमारा भी वही रिकमेंडेशन है कि स्पेशली टियर 2 सिटीज़ में डेवलपमेंट रिस्क लेके फ़ायदा नहीं है, बिकॉज ये जो डेवलपर्स होते हैं वो 1-2-3 छोटे छोटे प्रोजेक्ट्स बना के निकलते हैं। तो रेडी टू मूव इन बेटर है। अगर आप इसको जीरकपुर में देखें तो वहाँ भी आपको रेडी टू मूव इन मिल जाएंगे विद इन योर बजट। सो आई वुड प्रेफर वन ऑफ द 2 ऑप्शंस जो हमने यहाँ पे आपको दिए हैं, या तो यूनिवर्सल ताज टावर्स या इंपीरियल हाइट्स जो आप जीरकपुर में या मोहाली में देख सकते हैं, विच विल फिट इन टू योर बजट। एंड आई थिंक दैट इज़ रियली वेयर द अप्रिसिएशन पोटेंशियल इज ऑल्सो हायर कंपेयर टू एनी अदर पार्ट ऑफ पंजाब।
राइट, सो जीरकपुर एंड मोहाली, ये 2 मार्केट्स काफ़ी अट्रैक्टिव लग रहे हैं। दिस इज द मार्केट्स दैट यू शुड प्रॉब्ली लुक एट विथ द बजट that you told us you have a 50 lakh rupee budget, you're looking for a 3 BHK flat, and since it is an apartment that you're looking for, these are the markets where you have a substantial supply of apartments as well. Hope that answers your question. Moving on to a question that's coming from Balkrishna Pandey from Bengaluru. Now he says that he wants to invest in a pre-launch stage project such as Assets Here and Now, Sumadhura at Eden Garden, and Asset Northern Star in Bengaluru. Kindly suggest which of these builders and projects will be beneficial in the near future. If he has to relocate from Bangalore, will he get good resale value for these projects? He also wants to know what will be the impact of GST on these projects, and when is RERA going to be implemented in Karnataka. So he's asked all the questions at one go. Amit, shall we take up the investment question first?
Absolutely. First of all, Bangalore obviously continues to be a very, very vibrant investment destination. Yes, it has had its fair share of slowdown, of pressure on pricing, but compared to the offtake and compared to the overhang of inventory, it shows the best dynamics compared to any other metro or tier 1 locations in India even today. Clearly it is fueled by the IT, ITS, the startup, the Silicon Valley culture, which continues to ensure that there is a huge amount of commercial absorption that is happening every year. Almost 20 million square feet of new commercial absorption is expected to further take in the rest of this rest of this calendar year. So clearly a very high commercial activity which is fueling demand for residential. Amongst the options that you mentioned, actually you've looked at both parts of Karnataka or Bangalore. You've looked at northern Bangalore, which is the Thani Sandra belt. So you've selected Assets Here and Now, you mentioned, and Assets Northern Star. Both are in the Thani Sandra area. One of my favorite locations, by the way. And the second location you suggested, that is the Samudra Eden, is in Whitefield. Now, if I have to look at both of them, I always maintain that Whitefield is a very, very price-sensitive consumer segment, and prices tend to be very, very sticky there. They continue to hover in the 4,000 odd mark, and will continue to hover in that vicinity for a very long period of time, because like there is an extraordinary amount of supply, the demand continues to grow, but not at the speed at which supply is growing, and it has been like that for a number of years. Thanit Sesandra, on the other hand, continues to be a new location, North Bangalore, and that is obviously getting fueled by not just now the extended airport development, but also the fact that Manyata Tech Park is expanding. There's a new phase of IT development that is happening. The connectivity is again gone better on the northern side, and if you see that the price appreciation therefore on Manyata Tech Park side has been extraordinary. In fact, the prices have nearly doubled. What used to trade at about 3,500 rupees in the northern Bangalore vicinity has actually gone to 6,500, 7,000 rupees in the last 4 years alone. Whereas Whitefield has continued to be sluggish over the last 7-8 years since 2008. Starting at 2,800 rupees to barely inching to about 4,000 rupees in the last 8 years. So I would continue to say that if your work location is not of importance to you as an investment destination, then North Bangalore continues to be the location of choice. If you have to look at South Bangalore, then look at more the outer ring road, Sarjapur area, rather than look at Whitefield or Electronic City to start with. There are a number of options available within North Bangalore. All of the top developers have gone and started offering properties there. The one that you're mentioning is a pre-launch. I would never recommended pre-launch, by the way. It is, of course, economical on the budget because you have to pay so much less. But the whole concept of pre-launch is that you don't have approvals. And you're putting in money on the hope that they will start, building, delivering, and giving you your apartment over a period of time. Not the market today to even take the risk, despite the advent of RERA or despite the advent of other regulatory measures, because we still need to see the implementation. We need to see the impact of that and how many credible developers will be left post RERA. So, look at a ready to move in, nearly ready development, enough supply there. Again, in the 5,000 rupee square foot odd price bracket, and
that is a sweet spot that investors are working with. This is the budget that you invest in real estate. So
absolutely.
This is the budget that you are targeting when you go around putting your money.
Absolutely. I mean, we already took a punt on we took a punt on south of Electronic City, because again there's the affordable segment, and if anybody who can't pay 4,000, 5,000 rupees would be happy to go maybe 5, 7, 8 kilometers down south and pick up an apartment for maybe 3,500 rupees. So that is one play which is very interesting, which is more the South Bangalore play, not the North Bangalore play. So affordable housing is very Southeast Bangalore. But the newer developments, which is really the IT SEZ, the newer developments which are affiliated to manufacturing, IT, etc., is actually all North Bangalore, which is not really for the EWS LIG segment, and that is really where the price appreciation also tends to happen the fastest. So therefore, we are more cash flow based. We need to see the money.
So look at mid-income housing and look, ideally, go and invest in projects that are completed because, of course, the risk is far, far lower over there. And as far as RERA's implementation is concerned in Karnataka, Karnataka was, of course, among the first few states to actually go out and put out the draft rules. But sadly, it has not really followed up with that speed. So the rules for RERA have not yet been notified, whereas some other states have actually gone ahead and notified the rules. So there is still some time for RERA to actually be implemented in Karnataka, though we know that there is a home buyers lobby which has been pushing for RERA in the state. What about GST? Very quickly, Amit.
Well, I mean, I think that's a debate we've been having. I think recently we met up with the finance ministry as well as with the housing minister in Delhi just earlier this week. And I think clearly they're saying that the net impact on housing because of GST should be zero. We're hoping that will fall in either the 12% sort of bracket as far as overall taxation is concerned. Therefore, the net impact should be actually either marginally
it's not going to add to the cost of my home.
I don't think it will add to the cost of. I think that is obviously the objective of the government, and they've actually made us comfortable to that extent that it will not add.
That's what the government intends to do. It does not intend to make your homes any more costlier. But of course, we have to wait and watch for that, the final fine print of the GST. Shrikant is on the line from Bengaluru. Shrikant, how can we help you?
Hi. I'm planning to book a 2 BHK apartment in GM Infinite's Global Techies Town in Electronic City Phase 1.
Okay.
They are currently quoting 47 lakhs for 1150 square feet apartment, which is in 18th floor, inclusive of parking, amenities and service tax. So approximately it brings down to 4,100 square feet for rupees per square feet. So, and they are expecting to complete the project by April 2020. So my question is, I would like to get an advice about the GM Infinite Builder, their reputation, and also if it is a good option to invest in terms of investment, just in case if I want to resell at later point of time.
Okay, so he's looking at a project that is going to be delivered in April 2020, and this is currently, they're quoting 4,100 rupees per square foot. What do you think, Amit?
I wouldn't say it's a bad choice, but I think there are better choices to make. One is a possession which is 3 to 4 years away adds, I think, to my mind, a lot of risk. And again, as I always maintain, it's a cash flow planning issue. But now, with the yields of Electronic City Phase 1 tending to be about 3-4%, and the cost of borrowing being about 8-8.5%, the gap between the yield and the cost of debt has actually shrunk quite substantially. So I would recommend that if you can, and again depends upon your cash flow and your financial planning, that if you can go for a ready to move in apartment which can be leased out, where you will get at least between 15,000 to 22,000 or 25,000 rupees of rent every month, which will obviously take care of your EMIs and
Amit,
again.
I'm sorry to interrupt you over there, but 4,160 rupees per square foot is what prices are averaging in Electronic City Phase 1. Now, this of course is very close to what Srikanth is being offered in terms of an under construction property.
Exactly.
And since he's saying 2020, I'm assuming here that it is very early. We are looking at a very early stage property over here. What would be the corresponding cost of, say, ready to move in property? How much more would Srikanth have to budget
Great
for?
point, and I think we are rightly hitting the nail on the head with that point, Kavita, because you will not find products which are more expensive than 4,800 or 5,000 rupees a square foot in any part of Phase 1 of Electronic City, and it tends to go down further from that in Phase 2 and Phase 3. So if I have to pay 500, 600, 800 rupees more, and the burden of interest is not there because I'm continuing to pay interest for the next 3-4 years without having a rent earning opportunity from that asset, and therefore economically it makes no sense, because effectively I've ended up paying maybe something like 24% or 30% on my investment over a period of next 3-4 years, whereas I could have actually earned money from that. So it doesn't add up in terms of math. The cost of actual cost of investment would have gone up to that extent by that period of time. Typically most possessions tend to be 1 to 1.5 years beyond the estimated date. So I won't be surprised if you're actually getting it beyond 2020. And as I said, there are better developers. So GM Infinite Group has delivered projects. It's a mid-sized developer, has done 300-400 crores worth of projects over its lifetime of about 20 odd years, 25 years. But again, small projects, scattered around, nothing major, which I understand. But but I mean, so there are brands like DLF who've done work. There are brands like Manya who've done work, Sipani. So there are number of very, very high quality developers who actually have ready to move in high quality assets at sub 5,000 rupees, which I would rather focus on.
Right, Srikanth. And in fact, 2020 is a little too much in the future. You're at 2017 over here, 3 years away, and you never know if the project will actually get delivered in time. That is a risk that you need to consider before buying into that particular project. And the differential over here, 4,100 rupees per square foot is 4,106 is what you're being offered. 4,800 to 5,000 rupees is what you will get ready property at. So even if you're looking for something that is closer to possession, say a year away from possession, it should lie somewhere between that range. So our recommendation here is, while this is a good project, you should probably do a little more house hunting over there, identify a couple of properties that are closer to possession and look at how much they cost and then make a final decision. Moving on, we have Namrata who sent in a question. Now she plans to buy a 3 BHK flat in Thane and budget is 95 lakh rupees. She says this is for investment. What is the right price to enter into this location at the moment? She's also expecting good rental returns. So is it the right place for investment? She's not told us exactly which area of Thane she's looking at, and it is quite a humongous stretch. But a 95 lakh rupee budget is good for Thane.
I think it is reasonable for Thane. I mean, again, if you look at the larger branded players, I think the average cost today comes to more closer to 9 or 10,000 rupees a square foot. And if you're looking at a 3 BHK, Kavita, then you're typically looking at 1200 to 1400 square foot of saleable, which I think slightly excess, is in excess of the budget that you have in mind. So, there are two options. Either you look at a smaller sizing of 2 BHK, and the possibility of renting out a 2 BHK in my mind is actually higher than a 3 BHK, because Thane still continues to be a slightly price sensitive market. I know many friends who actually done 3 BHKs, 5 BHKs, penthouses, and have been sitting it and using it themselves potentially for the last 2 or 3 years. So I think this is a mid-segment market, and looking at a 2 BHK I think is a smarter option as an investor rather than a 3 BHK, because your rental will not change whether you offer a 2 BHK or a 3 BHK. People will not necessarily pay you a higher rate.
In fact, Amit, the other thing, of course, also is the fact that there is a lot of IT investment now coming into the Thane market,
Yes.
which means you will be potentially looking at IT employees who will want to rent out your home. So keeping that in mind, then would you look at the 1 BHK, the 2 BHK, or the studio apartments, which are also slowly hitting the
The
market?
smaller the better, Kavita. I think the whole market, irrespective whether it's Thane or even South Bombay, whether it's Prabhadevi, Worli, people are now talking more extensively about small compact studios on 1 BHKs rather than even larger configurations, and they're trying to work the economics around that. So I think there is no doubt in my mind that today, irrespective of the location, the smaller the better. Your faster acceptability, there's very limited stock available today, and therefore your ability to rent it, sell it, use it, etc. becomes much higher.
And which areas in Thane should she be concentrating
So,
on?
I think the stock clearly lies within Godbandar Road, extension of Godbandar Road, Pokhran 3, etc. They continue to be the hub of supply, which is really where the price point that you're looking at will continue to, attract you. There are many projects, and as I said, everybody, right from a Kalpatru to Hiranandani. Of course, you won't get a Hiranandani actually at that budget, but there are all possible developments available. So, because there is a very large overhang of inventory, I think you can really drive a bargain depending on where you want to be in Thane, as Kavita rightly pointed out. Anything beyond Teen Hath Naka, because that's really the expensive part. But if you go beyond Teen Hath Naka and you start going towards Godbandar Road, or you start going towards Pokhran Road, you will start seeing a number of opportunities which are actually within the 1 crore mark, more on the 2 BHK side rather than higher. So I would say stick with that. Look at a 2 BHK, stay within the 1 crore bracket, less than about 1,000 odd square feet of leasable, saleable area, and look at ready possession projects which are you can actually start renting them out tomorrow. You will tend to make a good return on that, because you might start with 15,000 rupees of or 20,000 rupees of rental a month as well, almost as quickly. Nobody pays for 30,000-40,000 rupee rentals in Thane, at least in those locations.
Right, so there, and those are the prices, of course, like Amit pointed out. Godbandar Road is averaging around 9,651 rupees per square foot. And of course, there is a metro coming up over there. So probably that is something else that you would want to consider buying near the terminus of the metro, which is on Godbandar Road. Deepak writes in now. He says he wants to invest in a flat in Bengaluru. His budget is 50 lakh rupees and he plans to hold the property for at least 5 years. Which city is a better investment destination? He's looking for good rental returns and ready possession properties. So he's not told us which is the other city he has in mind, but Bengaluru as a destination, you can't really fight that. 50 lakh rupees, it's a good budget.
Yeah, I think Bengaluru 50 lakh rupees is a reasonable budget, because as we maintain, about 5,500 rupees is the average stock price across most parts of Bangalore within the city limits, of course, or a ring road. And you're looking at less than 1,000 odd square feet, so you will be able to actually make choices. Like we've just discussed Bangalore enough actually earlier part of the segment. I've clearly stated that North Bangalore looks the most attractive and offers products at about
Where are you
4,000.
investing in Bangalore?
So we've just committed, I said, one project off Thane Sandra Road, more towards the industrial corridor on the north western corridor or Old Calcutta Road of Bangalore. That's one of the locations we've gone after, because I think the upside. If you're looking at whether from Devanhalli to going up to the beginning of Outer Ring Road, I think it is the western part of that segment which is looking slightly cheaper. So obviously we're price sensitive, and we always continue to look at sub 4,000 rupee type of inventory, which is available by mid-sized developers who are actually looking at liquidity. So that has been really our play, where you've ready inventory, very well developed, good quality, all possible amenities. Will not be a 50 building or a 50 tower complex, but will be maybe having 3-4 towers with pretty much all the facilities in there. And so we've gone and looked at those, which are actually sub 4,000 rupee and which have therefore the highest potential of an upside as far as we are concerned. So that's one location. The second location we like is Sarjapur Road, because of the outer ring road development and the fact that you're not looking at just one micro market of a Whitefield or a electronic city. I'm slightly averse to rushing into electronic city or Whitefield because of the sheer supply that has existed historically there. But Sarjapur Road is really the new development belt, shown very strong promise, will continue to show very strong promise, and that's the second option, where again you'll be able to get it, within 50 lakhs, a 700-800 square feet apartment, which really does very well in that market. So those are my two top picks as far as Bangalore is concerned. Other cities, again, I mean, it's really up to you, because I think the tenets of investing is it has to be accessible to you. So if you're in the south and if you have to go to Delhi,
And what configuration would you look at in Bangalore?
I think we've maintained that. I think generally 2 BHKs is what works. Unless you're going to, like we said, Mohali, Chandigarh, Zirakpur, where people like a larger format.
So essentially, that's the investor's formula, and you've heard it from Amit himself, Deepak. So if you're looking to invest in Bangalore, this is what you should look at. Look at Thanisandra, look at Sarjapur. Those are the markets Amit picks. Look at a sub 4,000 rupee per square foot price tag. Look at ready-to-move-in flats in mid-sized developments by mid-sized developers, and of course buy a 2 BHK flat, because that is a configuration that moves the fastest if you want to rent it out and also sells the fastest. With that, of course, we come to an end of this episode of Property Hotline. Thank you very much, Amit, for coming in and answering all those questions. And of course, any questions on real estate, do send in your queries and we will get them answered from the country's top experts. Thank you for watching.